vulnerability of young people is healthy lifestyles, the issues of drugs and substance abuse. These are some of the issues that we could see the potential of our young people being cut off at an early stage. Those are some of the issues that we think they should be able to do. But young people, they must always be energetic. This is a month where one of the youngest freedom fighters, Solomon Kalusha Mahlang, was hanged by the system 42 years ago. Yesterday, there was that particular commemoration. And his blood must continue to nourish the freedom. And it can't be in vain. Abantu abancane ke ngeke bayithole mebehleli khonini. Government will do and create the condition, but they must seize the moment.
Now, just a reminder that we are streaming on Facebook, the Free State Provincial Government Facebook page, as well as the Free State Online Channel Facebook page. Radio stations are CUT-FM, Muteo FM, Musupatsila FM, Sitsoto FM, Dihlabeng FM, Metsi Mahulu FM, and Kwat. Now, will job creation be effective if the same young people if the jobs are created for the same young people that lack the necessary skills? You mentioned now that education is very important in this, and ngeke uhlale khoneni and expect to succeed.
Well, we just have to understand that one of the things that we don't want in South Africa is that young people must always be job seekers. We also want them to be creators of jobs and wealth. That's why there is a lot of emphasis around, even in the education system. There are those that must go to the higher end universities, the intellectual capability, but there are those that must use their hands. They must use their hands because they are able-bodied. That's why the system of our TVET system, you could see that government has actually made the matter of education a priority, like a right. And spending billions and billions of rands. They have to seize that particular opportunity because to participate in the economy, it will require skills. And for those particular skills, our institutions of higher learning will give them that particular opportunity to do so. But at the very same time, there has to be exposure in terms of experiential learning and those particular opportunities, they are there. But at the very same time, there's an appeal that government in dealing with youth unemployment, which is now estimated that in the unemployed population, youth is constituting close to 70%, and it's becoming a security risk. Because if young people are not engaged, they will be able to redirect the energies and the energies that they are there, including people who are having other ulterior motive within our own society. They can use the grievance of the young people to mobilize, to undermine our democracy, but at the very same time, undermine the project of building the kind of a united, non-racial, democratic, and as prosperous a society we seek. Therefore, our view is that the province of Free State and elsewhere, and local municipalities must do well around these issues of getting the economy to work. And the efforts, as I'm saying, in the plan by President must then be supported to deal with those particular issues. But it's not an easy thing. One of the last points we must say, young people must always try, even in terms of guidance, career guidance. Let's not have one option. There are young people who think that certain types of work must never be done. They can't work in a particular work because it has an impact on their self-esteem. For an example, I work in the Department of Water and Sanitation. We need plumbers. Yesterday, we're in a township there in Freedom Square. The sewer was running in the street. And every person, after you have eaten, you will actually release your human waste into the water system. And if the pipe is blocked, who must unblock it? There will always be someone that has that particular job in terms of being a plumber, a technician, or an artisan. All of us, we might have the decent jobs. We want certain jobs that will want you to have a certain reputation. But someone needs food. Someone must tilt the land. And all of us will want you to do certain things, but someone must do the garden. These are some of the issues that when we actually build this kind of a society, we must be able to promote a society that values hard work, dedication, and be able to know that even if you have a particular job, your job is not more important than any other person. And the other choices that we make in communities, because our own society is too much judgmental, as if we are not successful as a young person or a family if one of your family members work in a particular sector that is looked down upon. And we must be able to change our mindset.
Now, let me see, you mentioned earlier about the importance of. Now, from observations and data gathered, what would you say is the cause of inconsistency in planning and implementation in the government?
As I indicated, that the challenge that we have experienced is that we were working in silos, and we, as a result, we're not able to maximize the resources that we have, human, capital, and otherwise. So those are the challenges that we have experienced. And you also would see that in terms of service provisioning, there's been some challenges. And then you also have monitoring and evaluation. Without that being very effective, you would not be able to do the other part. You can work, but if you are not able to measure and deal with some of the issues that we have identified along the way and correct them, you will not be able to improve and provide better services. So those are the challenges that we have identified.
Now, would you say that this incompetency within our districts contributes to problems experienced or encountered in our municipalities?
Yes, certainly. Let me just demonstrate something. In the Department of Human Settlement, we just recently got told that we have a young man who has a master's degree in planning and is a town planner, registered, and in October last year qualified also, has a PhD in construction, but was employed as a senior administrator in the department when you need the skills and use the skills to realize the objective. The other one has also a PhD, but is just a risk officer and in project planning. And you've got challenges in your management of your projects and all these other things. But we've got these skills somewhere in the department, not recognized, not used, and allowed to waste. And we've got many young people who are actually very creative and coming up with creative solutions. But because we are not giving them space, they're out there in the periphery when you can bring them. So if you bring this planning model up and you're able to attract these young creative minds, you would be able to deal with a number of issues that we have identified.
Now, do you think that applying this change to the current structure and management in municipalities can positively contribute to good governance? Or maybe the problem is not the structure, but the people managing the municipalities?
Could also be the system. It could also be the system. Sometimes we have the best people, but the system does not allow them to exercise the authority, what they have. If, for instance, as government, and we're not encouraging creativity, innovation, etc., you have people who are afraid to make mistakes. You've got people who are afraid to venture into the unknown territory. They just want to stay where they are and end up not doing things in a different way. We are living in a society now that is very complex. And I always say, applying linear thinking in solving these problems is not going to help. You need to be, as dynamic society, you need to have some understanding of these complex systems and applying and using some of the solutions to get the best out of the situation we have. So if we're not going to allow ourselves, in this case, to develop that capacity to think and to be able to understand the system and use it in the best interest of solving some of our, as I say, complex challenges. If we're going to apply methods that were relevant in 1960 and solving the challenges in 1960, and we apply them in 2022, we're not going to get anything done. And therefore we need to actually, as we develop this capacity, as we work together, we would be able to realize some level of excellence in our municipalities, and the use of these resources, if it is used to the maximum and optimally, it will be in the best interest of providing quality services.
After this, we will be having our question and answer segment where our audience present will get to ask questions, and maybe you at home on social media can ask questions that the MEC and the Deputy Minister can answer on stage.
One, two. Yeah.
Welcome back from the ad break. We are still having a panel discussion regarding the DDM in the Free State. My name is Angela Linda, and I am joined by the MEC, Mxolisi Dukwana, and the Deputy Minister, David Mohlobo. Now, this is a time for the question and answer segment, but just a reminder that we are streaming online on Facebook, on the Free State Provincial Government Facebook page, and the Free State Online Channel Facebook page, as well as community radio stations such as CUT FM, Muteo FM, Musupadzela FM, Sitsoto FM, Dihlabeng FM, Metsi Maholo FM, and Kwakwa Radio. Now, questions have been compiled from our audience that is present, and then later on we will be doing questions from the media. Now, this is to anyone that wants to answer the question. So this one is from Bishop Peter Jingus from the St. Matthew's Apostolic Church. So the question reads as follows. There are actually two questions. We have been promised a better life by several previous municipality administrations. What hurts most is how we see the sewer spillage and clean water leakage running on our streets, especially in the black townships. My question is, how long are we still going to be lied to about fixing these problems?
Maybe one of the things that we've admitted is that we've done well, and our records actually indicate, whether you read Stats SA, the Institute of Race Relations, the ANC government over the last 28 years has done well. But we are the first one, as we have said, to admit there is a problem in South Africa around the matters of sewer spillage. Minister Mchunu and Dikeleti Makazi, the Deputy Minister, and myself, working with the entire country, our instruction by President is that we must get sewer to be stopped. Because the issue of sewer spillages is impacting on the provision of the Constitution. Our Constitution says that nobody must live in an environment that is harmful. But at the very same time, we must also be able to ensure that the environment is protected, like our rivers. Over time, South Africa has grown in the population since 1994. We're close to 60 million right now. And one of the mistakes we've made when we allowed people access to services was not to attend to the issues of infrastructure expansion. In other words, the investment infrastructure never grew at a point like there's a growth in the economy and population. A number of infrastructure is under stress right now. Under stressed because it's actually overused or overcapacitated. Secondly, the infrastructure is old. And if the infrastructure is old, the technology that was used about 40, 50 years ago, Mangaung as a city, as an example, is more than 100 years old. The asbestos pipelines are dead there. Some of the sewer pipes are so small, but the population, the volume has increased. But at the very same time, municipalities have failed us. You know, the issue of sewer is so dehumanizing. Dehumanizing that even if we are sleeping, if it's in your own yard, in the still of the night, you'll feel the smell. It disrupts you. Let alone the children that are playing there. Our decision after our water summit is that we'll stop the sewer, we'll support municipalities. Where municipalities fail, we'll take over. Because our people deserve better. Yesterday, Deputy Minister Comrade Makazi, she was somewhere in Botshabelo. I was in Freedom Square. I couldn't believe that some of the officials of the municipality here are allowed to be paid when they don't do their job. We couldn't leave there yesterday when we could see the sewer coming from the main holes. All the streets, sewer everywhere. Then we had to get the Bloom Water as our institution and were to get the departmental engineers. They did fix the sewer there yesterday in Ward 8, those manhole that is not working. But you cannot have municipality officials that can just sleep on the job, they can't go and do this thing, allow communities when they respond. And on behalf of government, we must apologize, but they will have to pay accountability. Someone must lose his or her job. You see in Gauteng, there's an area called Mfuleni. Those people in the valley have been living in sewer since 2005. We tried to intervene, our intervention never worked. Certain communities with beautiful homes, they're to emigrate, even leave, even businesses there because of the sewer. And we are attending to that problem, but there are other people that we must attend to. There are still people who are using bucket toilets. There are still people that are actually having that inhumane system. National Sanitation Master Plan and Framework will want people to have flushing toilets so that they are dignified. You can't have two classes in one nation where others are having this. And we are working with MEC Tukwana here to support his municipality. In Velcom in Machabeng, sewer is running in the streets. But then there's a new phenomenon, the vandalism of infrastructure. They steal the pump stations there. They steal the copper. There are actually even illegal miners using the sewer pipes to go in and extract their gold there, using those particular issues. And I know that the Premier and the Minister, we are going to be putting a document to Cabinet how to help Machabeng and other mining towns. But here in Free State, we must stop sewer, whether we are from Gomaluti, somewhere, everywhere, it must be stopped. It's inhumane.
I think just to stress the last part of the question so that the person who asked it can be pleased, is there a time frame as to when the people can expect these issues to be resolved?
Well, we can't give time frame, but what we have made a decision, Minister Mkunu has said and committed to President and the nation that this year, 2022, we will stop talking and start fixing the problem. One of the problems that we are fixing now is that there are people who don't have water. You know, even here in Mangaung, they go for some 10 days, there's no water here. And in certain instances, the water pressure, if you are staying in those beautiful places, high-lying, you know, when you want to stay in a Kopine, they say the pressure can come in them. We are working with the MEC responsible for local government. Here, we must finish the pipeline, Comrade MEC, called Harip pipeline. We must fix the problem in Maluti where we're increasing the capacity in the Sterkfontein system. We are also actually, even here, there was one water board that was failing us, where MEC Tukane will be harassing us every day. No water in those municipalities on the other side. We have disestablished that now. We are giving Bloom Water to run the whole of Free State to be able to support them. But immediately there's an incident, we should be able to respond.
Okay, now still on the issue of water, this question is from the same person saying, whenever there's water cut off, the authorities do not respond on time to notify the communities, and water tanks are not even provided to us for a number of days. When can we be respected as voters and citizens of this country?
This is a very important question that is worrying every responsible person given the responsibility that we carry. For instance, the fact that the municipality would have a challenge and they would know about it, but they will not communicate and make sure that the people know exactly what is happening and also anticipate when that problem will be fixed. So that is part of what we say, we've been saying that, of quality services. So providing a quality service is also has to do with how you do that And that is also respecting the people and making sure that they know exactly what is happening, what could be the problem, and what are you doing to fix. And these are the challenges that we then said we need to fix and make sure that our government is responsive. Our municipalities are very responsive and they are able to communicate properly and make sure that people understand exactly what is happening. Just to indicate that whilst we talking about government, there is also a responsibility from the people themselves. In Valcom, for instance, a water treatment plant that has been repaired and reworked, and just when they were to put in the cables for electricity so that they are able to switch on now and have the plant working, they were confronted by armed robbers and trying to get the cable. And this is what we have seen becoming a trend. And some of these people live in our communities and we pretend that we do not see them and we think that it doesn't matter and we're not reporting these kind of things. I think we need to stop what is happening the way it is happening. It's happening with impunity, and our law enforcement agencies also need to deal with this, because there's no point that government does some of these things in trying to solve the challenge, but we then have other people who have other means, other intentions other than making sure that the services are given to the people in a manner that satisfies them. So I think we all of us, that is why I just thought that if we're going to work together as a dictum that the people first, and you can go on to talk about the people shall govern and all those things. And in actual fact, what does it mean? It means all of us taking responsibility and holding government accountable and making sure that there are consequences for things that are not happening. In some institutions, if you're working in the production house or production company, if you're to produce something and it has to go at a particular time, and you don't do that at that time, you know that there are going to be consequences. But in government, people think that they can do as they please, and no consequences would come because kukwamalume, everybody unahana hore. Once you are employed in government, it's actually permanent, and you can do as you please. And I think this is what we have said we need to change, and change quickly, and make sure that there are consequences for these things. Otherwise, we're going to be spending money and not deal with this. The other problem is, for instance, the Department of Water and Sanitation would actually put up money, and you would have municipalities, some of the officials and some of the leaders in municipalities bickering about who should get this service, who should work this, who should get the work, and in some cases it delays the actual work from starting and the people suffering. You go to Masilonyana, you look at what is happening there in terms of one pipe there is money for that. Money is there, and the only problem is people would want this company, the other one wants that company, and because they are not agreeing, then the contract or the tender is allowed to expire, and we've got to restart the thing again. And I think we need to step up and make sure that everybody, whether you are a councillor, mayor, whether you are a municipal manager or responsible people, In government, in provincial government, the same. We must actually crack on those people who do not want to serve, but all the time get their salaries at the end, and our people are suffering.
The next question is, when can we expect the fixing of roads and potholes that are costing us a lot of money? And I would like to add on to this, we have seen changes, yes, in town, several places, but more specifically focusing on our black neighborhoods and black townships where not much change is being seen.
I think this question of roads would have to be answered by Comrade Tukwan. I'm also a complainant. Comrade DG there, you know, when I'm here in Mangaung, initially I thought people were drunk when they drive. They don't drive straight.
Avoiding potholes.
And I could say, oh, there are potholes. And it's a very dangerous town. Namige, I'm affected by your roads, Comrade Tukwan.
Let's now deal with this, the elephant in the room. The road that this Nelson Mandela one, the Parford Road, and some other roads, you will remember that these roads came into existence, were built or constructed during the 2010, in preparation for the 2010. And some of these roads, some of them were done twice, redone twice. And I can tell you now, any person who's also an engineer, I'm not one, but would know that you can't have these roads failing the way they are failing. It is really a problem that some of the construction companies, or they actually are taking us for a ride. That there are specifications of what they should build and how strong this road should be, and there is money that goes into creating such a road. But if you were to test some of the roads here, you would find that we're short, we were cheated as the municipality, and I think we've seen them now, and we think that the problem is this municipality, the current municipality. But I'm just saying, some of the people who are given the responsibility are not doing the government any justice in terms of serving properly. Your engineers should actually be knowing exactly that the quality of a road that we are receiving is not what we signed out for and what we paid out for. But these are things that we need to work out and deal with them. Otherwise, we are going to be sitting here and talking about these potholes and spend more money fixing one road every time. And I think there are many roads. You look at Mushweshwe Road. If you check Mushweshwe Road for the past 30 years, it was one road that was stable, and in most cases, no potholes. But we check what is happening now. And where as they fixing, the place that they have fixed, there are potholes. So I think the quality of work is actually below standard, and there are people who should be doing their job and they're sleeping in job. So to answer the question, when are we going to fix this? As I say, we need to fix this, but we need to have people who are honest in safeguarding the past and making sure that we do things right. We can't do one road too many times. There are many roads that need attention, especially in our townships.
Maybe just to, while I'm complaining, but government has prioritized the question of roads. Even both national roads, regional roads, and is one of the biggest things because the road network, it makes it easy for business. It connects. Is the what do you call it? Is the vessels that actually transport blood. It's a lifeblood, And President has also said there is a money that Minister Mbalula has been assigned to support provinces and so forth, including access roads in communities, including creating jobs, including using even the technology of those roads where there is no kind of the volumes and traffic that must be there in the township, in villages, where we actually want to even to do paving and so forth, is one of the massive program. And we should be in a position that the province of Free State must be supported, because indeed, it's a biggest inconvenience, not only for business, but it can also actually even cause issues of risk around health. People can actually die on the roads, the condition in which we find ourselves. But in our economic reconstruction recovery plan, including in the State of the Nation address, road infrastructure and the entire transport network is a priority, and it is always a share for the province of Free State.
How are we then reassured that the people that end up with this responsibility to fix our roads are the correct people? What is the system and the criteria that we check that we don't have the problems where we have to do the same road twice in 5 years?
There are many ways we can deal with this. One is also to go back and make sure that we create the capacity, like we used to have power. And some of the roads you work and you do that as government and make sure that the people who are working on that will actually give what you have. The other challenge that you have here is also this thing, exchanging hands. How do you expect a company that is given a 100 million worth of a road to construct, and then you get an advance of 20 million, and somebody goes out and gets 10 million as a kickback, and you think that company would actually get the work done? What the company is going to do is going to compromise on quality and other things, and these are challenges that we're facing as government, that whilst people are looking at government, you're looking at rogue elements in the business, rogue elements in the administration, in government, and all these things are actually a problem that we must deal with. And people will tell you that politics are